So, the situation with Joe Mixon seems to be coming down to one thing. He has an ultimatum now. Based on a lot of different reports, inside sources, and a lot of people connected to Cincinnati Bengals, they're going to either tell him, take a pay cut, or you are cut. Now, the thing is, he has a little bit of time to make this decision. Because at this moment in time, if Cincinnati cuts him, they would only be saving a total of $2.5 million. It's actually less than $1.8 million. They cut him right now. If they cut him post June 1st, they would be saving a total of $4.4 million. And if they traded him post June 1st, they'd be saving $10.3. If they traded him now, they'd be saving $5.4. So if they trade him post June 1st, they saved the most money possible. But if they would have cut him June 1st, they would save $4.4 million. So at this moment in time, he has pretty much until June 1st to take that ultimatum and decide, does he want to take a pay cut or just get cut? Go find a new team and figure out the situation. At this moment in time, he'll be making $9.4 million this upcoming season. Following that, he'll be making $9.6 the year after that. If he takes a pay cut, probably both those numbers will drop down to around $4.5 million each. Again, saving Cincy around four point some million against the cap for each of those years, which obviously is huge and helps them out with the Burrow situation and the T. Higgins situation. And then obviously Logan Wilson in the future, DJ Reader, the list goes on and on, right? So this actually gives them a lot of wiggle room to do other things with other players. Now, this draft next Thursday is going to dictate a lot. You know, if Cincinnati, they could target 2 running backs in this upcoming draft. They could trade Jonah Williams on draft night and get a couple more picks and then get another running back or 2. Chris Evans is already on the roster, and same as Travion Williams. Travion Williams spent his whole offseason working on bettering himself, making himself, bigger, stronger, and a better player. And he wants the opportunity to become the starting running back on this roster. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing more, as Cincinnati coaches right now, there's nothing more impressive than a player's doing that. You have Joe Mixon this offseason now in his second legal battle. One happened at his house. Now this situation where, allegedly, he was in a road rage incident where he pulled out a weapon on a female driver and is a mess, okay? He's not been proven guilty. He's innocent until proven guilty. There's nothing saying that in any way that he did anything. But these are red flags after red flags. And you have a guy in Travion Williams who's trying his best to just get the opportunity to become the starting player on the roster. He's making little to no money. He is on a 1-year contract. 1 year left on his contract. Joe is just not making a good case for himself. They tried to trade him based on reports and rumors. They tried to trade him. And with all this legal situation going on, his trade value is nothing. So if that's the case, you can't trade the guy. You got to tell him, hey, listen, you're going to take a pay cut. We're going to figure out what we're going to do with you, and then we're going to move on. And I think Joe does take a pay cut. I think he accepts a pay cut, and I think he makes less money, but he stays on the Cincinnati Bengals roster. Because at this moment in time, with all the situations, all the red flags, if he goes somewhere else, I don't think he's going to get that much money. He really isn't. I think he will get a contract offer to go somewhere else, but again, keep in mind, at the end of the day, he could, technically speaking, he had a court hearing on April 16th. There could be some more problems down the line where he's not in the NFL anymore. And especially if he stays on Cincy, right, and he's fighting the legal battles, fighting the problems, but he's not guilty, he still technically could play and get paid. But if he's a free agent and he's fighting the legal battles, no one's going to sign him. He's going to be an absolutely no way at all we're going after this guy. So there's a bunch of problems there. Now, I did see some people ask about, what about suspension? Could he be suspended? First off, the legal process would have to finish. He would have to be found he doesn't have to be found guilty to be suspended. But there has to be enough evidence against him that the NFL would proceed with creating their own investigation, and then they could suspend him based on whatever situation they believe he violated the NFL policy. But at this moment in time, that would probably be a year from now anyway. It wouldn't be right now. It would probably be a year from now. We saw Zeke when he got suspended. He didn't get suspended the year he did it. He got suspended the year after he did it. Alvin Kamara, he did his whole incident that he'll probably get suspended for this year. That whole situation happened in 2020. So at this moment in time, if he does get suspended, it won't be for a year or so. But since he's not going to mess around, and I'm telling you this right now, if he does in any way, there's a chance he's guilty of what he did, Cincinnati will cut him instantly. They're going to get rid of him. They're not going to keep a player around who's a problem, who is causing problems, and who could possibly have done something that, what he is allegedly being accused of. Which, again, like I said, at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see. There's different reports. Some reports say he just pulled out a weapon on the woman. Some say he struck the woman with the weapon. There's different reports, different things. We have to wait and see what ends up happening. And again, at this moment in time, Joe Mixon is in the hot seat for that said reason. But I think, personally speaking, he will just take the pay cut. He'll go down to $4.5 million a year for the next 2 seasons. And, we'll move on from there. And we really won't talk about much about Joe Mixon other than the fact that, Cincinnati probably will be drafting his replacement. Whether that ends up becoming Zach in the 2nd round, or the 3rd round with Tank, or the 4th round with Deuce, or the 5th round with Zach Evans, or the 6th round with Muhammad. It could be any of those guys, but we do know Cincinnati is interested in running back. They have showed interest in Austin Eckler, but the money just isn't there. Austin Eckler wants a new contract. You also have to give up draft pieces, and Cincinnati's not going to do that. They've showed interest in other players like Zeke Elliott. Well, kind of not. Zeke has shown interest in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's Zach Taylor, head coach. Coach Taylor has said, we like the guys we have. But based on what I understand, there is some mutual interest between Zeke Elliott and Cincinnati. Like, since he has some interest back, it's just being very hush and quiet because the draft's right around the corner and Cincinnati's not going to show their cards on what they're going to do in this upcoming draft. So they're going to be like, we're not going to talk about Zeke Elliott. But after the draft's over, it's very possible they sign Zeke Elliott. And if they sign Zeke Elliott, there's more reasons why you're just not going to keep Joe Mixon. So we'll have to wait and see. Katie Blackburn, vice president for the Cincinnati Bengals, she came out during the combine about the situation, and she gave us the most. Joe is so expandable, it's not even funny. She came out and said that at this moment in time, Joe Mixon's our running back. If things change, if anything happens, he might not be. We're going right now at this moment in time. If the roster does not change, they don't draft a running back, they don't trade a running back, they don't sign a running back, the exact roster they have, and if they go to week 1, he is on the roster, he's a starting running back. But he might not be because they might cut him or trade him or whatever. Guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.